Uranium just hit a price floor the US government built into law, and 9 nuclear stocks are sitting right on top of it. I'm Alex Carter. Welcome back to Wealth Signal. Nuclear stocks were the hottest trade in the market at the end of last year. Today, almost every name in this sector is down, and most investors have already stopped watching. I went through 9 of these stocks, sector by sector, and looked at exactly what's driving the pullback and what's quietly building underneath it. If you want more breakdowns like this before the rest of the market catches on, hit subscribe right now. Today we're covering the power companies running these reactors, the miners pulling uranium out of the ground, the small modular reactor builders racing toward 2030, and one bonus stock that wins no matter who comes out on top. Group 1. Power companies. First up, Constellation Energy, ticker CEG. This is one of the 2 big anchor utilities in the nuclear story, and it's actually down more than its closest competitor. That might look like a red flag. It's actually the opposite. Constellation isn't just running old reactors and collecting a power bill. It's in the middle of restarting 3 Mile Island. Yes, that 3 Mile Island, bringing a shut-down nuclear plant back online to meet a wave of new power demand. That restart is expensive. It's pulling real cash out of the business right now, which is a big part of why the stock has dropped further than some of its peers. At the same time, this is a company with a strong defensive position in the power sector and a multi-year nuclear build-out plan. Here's what concerns me. Energy stocks like this move on more than fundamentals. They move on headlines, geopolitics, day-to-day sentiment, the kind of noise that has nothing to do with whether the business is actually working. That volatility is exactly what's pushed the entry point down to a level long-term investors are now watching closely. Now, the second anchor in this group might actually have more room to grow than Constellation, and the reason has nothing to do with nuclear at all. NextEra Energy, ticker NEE, hasn't pulled back nearly as hard as Constellation. And once you see what's sitting inside this company, you'll understand why. NextEra doesn't just generate power. It owns Florida Power, and it just absorbed Dominion Power, the utility that controls the electricity flowing through the entire AI corridor running through Northern Virginia and Washington, D.C. That gives NextEra direct exposure to some of the fastest-growing power demand in the country, with nuclear positioned as the backup plan once those 2 utilities are fully integrated. The concern here is the same one across the whole sector. This stock trades on sentiment as much as fundamentals, and that cuts both ways. But that Dominion exposure to AI-driven power demand is exactly why analysts see more upside left in NextEra than in Constellation, even with a smaller pullback already priced in. Let's move from the power companies to the part of this story that actually pulls the uranium out of the ground. If you're finding this breakdown useful, drop a like. It genuinely helps more people see this kind of analysis instead of the same 5 stocks everyone already covers. Group 2. Uranium miners. Cameco, ticker CCJ, is the stock most people think of first when they think uranium mining, and it's pulled back hard, right along with the spot price of uranium itself. Cameco isn't just a miner chasing the market price. A large piece of their uranium is sold under government-guaranteed floor pricing, meaning even with the spot price near $80, this company has contracts that protect a chunk of their revenue. The uranium spot price has dropped to around $80 a pound. That number matters because it's also the price floor the U.S. government effectively guarantees on a meaningful amount of domestically mined uranium. Here's the catch. Mining economics are brutally exponential. When the spot price falls, free cash flow doesn't fall a little, it falls off a cliff, because it costs roughly the same to pull a pound of uranium out of the ground, whether the price is $80 or $150. Which means the floor that's hurting Cameco today is the same floor that should send cash flow rocketing back up the moment uranium demand turns. Cameco is the steady, government-backed name in this group. The next one takes a more aggressive approach to getting uranium out of the ground. Uranium Energy Corp, ticker UEC, just had its sharpest jump in months, even while sitting near half its price from January. UEC has developed more advanced extraction methods than some of its competitors, pulling more usable uranium out of the same ground other miners walk away from. And just this week, they restarted production at their Wyoming hub. That restart is the catalyst behind the recent jump. Once it's fully online, UEC has direct access to more of the raw material it needs to actually produce uranium, not just hold reserves. But that recent pop doesn't erase the bigger picture. This stock has lost nearly half its value since January, purely because of how exponential mining economics cut in both directions. The same exponential math that crushed this stock on the way down is the math that sends it flying once uranium demand comes back. And right now, this is a name analysts have priced for 30 to almost 50% upside from here. Our third miner isn't just chasing uranium. It's chasing something else just as valuable. Energy Fuels, ticker UUUU, looks like a uranium miner on paper. It's actually two booms in one stock. They're spinning up a new mine in Utah, and unlike the other two miners we just covered, Energy Fuels is also a rare earth materials play, the same critical materials behind everything from defense technology to advanced electronics. Both of Energy Fuels' core markets, uranium and rare earths, are sitting in the exact same place right now. A real pullback, with real signs of an early bounce starting to show. The risk here is that you're betting on two cyclical commodity markets turning at roughly the same time, instead of just one. If both legs of this story turn together, Energy Fuels has a path to outrun the other two miners on the way back up. But it also means there are two separate catalysts that need to land, not one. All three of these miners are sitting near a fundamental floor. But the steepest drop in this entire sector belongs to the small modular reactor companies. And that's where we're headed next. Before we continue, throughout this video, I've been referencing real numbers, real catalysts, and real comparisons across 9 different stocks. I've put all of it into a single visual summary file for this exact video, every ticker, every metric, side by side. If you want to download it and keep it as a permanent reference, I've set up a Wealth Signal Telegram channel where the file is waiting for you. And it's not just this video. Every video we've done before has its own file in there, and every new video we release, the summary goes into the channel first. So if you want this file, and you want to be first to get every future one, the link is in the description below. Join the channel, grab the file, and I'll see you in there. Group 3. Small Modular Reactors. Oklo, ticker OKLO, is widely seen as one of the leaders in the small modular reactor race, and it's been hit just as hard as the rest of this group. This isn't a science experiment anymore. Oklo just received preliminary safety approval from the Department of Energy, a real regulatory milestone, not just a press release. That approval moves Oklo a meaningful step closer through the pipeline toward actual commercialization, even though full-scale rollout is still years away. The honest concern with every SMR name right now is timeline. We're talking about technology that's realistically commercializing around 2030, and the market has already started questioning whether that's too far out to justify today's price. The way to think about these stocks is the same way you'd think about early-stage AI or early-stage quantum names. They're not commercialized yet, but the milestones are real, and they're stacking up. Oklo isn't working alone on safety. The next name just brought in outside help to get there faster. NuScale Power, ticker SMR, just partnered with Paragon to advance the safety systems inside their reactor module, which tells you their design has matured enough that safety is now the focus, not the concept itself. NuScale is also working deals overseas, including in Japan, with conversations open in Sweden and several other countries. This isn't just a domestic story. Of the 3 SMR names, NuScale has had one of the strongest recent moves, partly because of how visible those international conversations have become. The same concern applies here as with Oklo. These contracts and partnerships are real progress, but actual revenue from operating reactors is still years out. If even one of those international conversations turns into a signed contract, the headline alone could move this entire SMR group, not just NuScale. The third name in this group isn't just building reactors, it just picked up the ability to move the uranium itself. NANO Nuclear Energy, ticker NNE, just acquired STS, a transport company certified to move uranium around the country. That's a real, current revenue stream layered on top of a future SMR business. On top of that acquisition, NANO just got their construction permit approved for the Kronos reactor, a 12-megawatt test reactor going up at the University of Illinois. Two real catalysts landed close together here, an operating business that can generate revenue now, and a regulatory approval that pushes their core reactor technology forward. The risk is the same across this entire group. SMR economics depend on a 2030 timeline that the market may not be willing to keep paying a premium for. But NANO is one of the only names in this group with revenue happening today, not just promised revenue years from now. That's worth paying attention to. Now, before we rank all 8 of these, there's one more stock that wins no matter which of these companies ends up on top.
Bonus pick. BWX Technologies. BWX Technologies, ticker BWXT, is the stock in this story that doesn't need to pick a winner. It already supplies the parts everyone else needs. BWX builds the small modular reactors already running inside every U.S. Navy submarine and aircraft carrier. And every other company we just covered, when they need containment systems, valves, or core components to build their own reactors, they buy them from BWX. The Department of Energy just allocated $1.44 billion in their latest budget specifically to retrofit and upgrade the existing reactor fleet, and BWX is the company getting that money. The honest caveat here is that this recent move in the stock is driven mostly by that one contract, not by the broader nuclear sector turning yet. There's a difference between a single catalyst and a sector-wide recovery. But once that broader recovery does show up, BWX captures a piece of almost every dollar spent across the entire sector, regardless of whether the power companies, the miners, or the SMR builders end up leading the way. So now that we've been through all 9 names, let's put them in order. If I had to rank them by where I'd put my attention first, BWX Technologies for the broadest exposure with the least single company risk, NextEra for the AI-driven power demand sitting inside Dominion, and Uranium Energy Corp for the sharpest upside if uranium demand turns the way the supercycle pattern suggests it will. None of this is about picking the one perfect nuclear stock. It's about understanding that an entire sector can hit a real fundamental floor, uranium near $80, regulatory milestones actually clearing, government money already moving, while the headlines have already moved on to something else. This is my list based on research, not a recommendation. Your situation, your risk tolerance, and your timeline might look completely different from mine. Always do your own homework before putting any money into any of these. If this kind of sector breakdown is useful to you, hit that like button. It's the main reason channels like this get to keep covering stocks that aren't already trending everywhere else. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because the moment one of these 9 catalysts turns into real news, you'll want to already be watching. And drop a comment telling me which of these 9 you're watching most closely, the power companies, the miners, the SMR builders, or BWX. And if you want the visual summary file comparing all 9 of these stocks side by side, join the Wealth Signal Telegram channel, link is in the description. Next time, we're looking at a completely different sector that's sitting on the exact same kind of quiet floor. I'm Alex Carter, and I'll see you in the next one.